What is love? It's a question we all ask ourselves at some point, and yet no one seems to have a clear answer. See, love is something we all need, but many of us struggle to define it, express it, or even believe that we deserve it. And maybe you've never been in a relationship and wonder what love really is. Or maybe you've been hurt before and you're just afraid to love again. Or maybe you're just like Violet Evergarden. You're just trying to understand what it all means. Well, that's why in today's video, we're going to break down the answer to this very question. Well, what is love? And not just the fairy tale version, but the raw, real, and the complicated truth behind it all. And by the end of this video, you're going to get the answer to this mysterious question. Have you ever said the words "I love you" to someone and it didn't feel quite the same as when you said it to somebody else? Well, that's because love isn't just one thing. It's a spectrum, and every form of it has a unique weight and meaning. Of course, you have your romantic type of love that we feel with our significant others, romantic partners. And then we have our familial type of love that we feel from our parents, siblings, grandparents, etc., etc. Then you have your platonic type of love, with your friends, acquaintances, maybe even coworkers, and just people in general. And of course, we can't talk about love without talking about self-love, which is kind of self-explanatory, right? It's how you treat yourself and how you feel about yourself. But when it comes to Violet Evergarden, she had never experienced any type of love before meeting Gilbert. And that's because as a child soldier, she was trained to obey orders, to fight, and to survive, but not to feel. And Gilbert was the first person to treat her as something more than a tool. He saw her as a person, someone that was actually worthy of care and love. And yet, when he told her the words, "I love you," he didn't understand what it meant. That simple phrase threw her into a journey of discovering the many different forms of love. And as for me, I've been blessed, thank you God, to experience each form in some type of way. But just like Violet, I'm still learning more and more about them. When it comes to romantic love, I feel like my current girlfriend may be the one that God has for me. But the truth of it is that only He knows the end result, right? When it comes to familial love, I'm so blessed to have two loving parents and loving siblings and grandparents and the whole 9 yards. But I know I won't fully understand the type of sacrificial love that comes from a parent's love until I have my own kids. And then, of course, when it comes to platonic type of love, I'm still learning what it means to be a good friend, because I know I can be better at it. And when it comes to self-love, well, this channel is pretty much documenting that entire journey, right? I'm learning how to accept every aspect of myself and just how to be a better person overall. Now, each type of love has its own role in shaping who we are. Maybe you haven't experienced romantic love yet, but I guarantee love is present in your life in some other ways. So what I want you to do is ask yourself this: who in your life has shown you love, even in ways you might not have recognized before? Now, you've probably heard the phrase, "you can't pour from an empty cup." But what if I told you that love works the exact same way? See, love isn't just something that we give or receive. It's a cycle that feeds into itself. Now, Violet at first didn't know how to love herself because no one had ever truly loved her before. But Gilbert changed all that. He gave her a home, taught her how to read and write, and he even gave her a name. And these small acts of love planted a seed inside of Violet that would one day grow, whether she knew it or not. And after Gilbert was gone, she didn't let that love die. She carried it forward, pouring it into others through her work as an auto memory doll. By writing letters, she was helping others express their emotions, and she was able to give the very thing that she had once lacked. Now, as for me, I've always been a naturally empathetic person. I do my best to try to understand where other people are coming from, and at the very least, just give them an empty, judge-free zone where they can come and vent their frustrations. And honestly, seeing people go through their own battles and doing what I can to help them is rewarding to me. It's why I do what I do, because to me, it's my way of showing love to others. But I couldn't pour into others if I didn't have other people pouring into me. And the best example I can give are, of course, my parents, and by extension, my grandparents, because they've been pouring into me really since I came out the womb. And it's because of their love and support that I have a foundation on how to love myself and all the different quirks that I have. And by doing that, I'm better equipped to teach others and to pour into others because I've already been through it before. And the key here is that love isn't just about what we feel, it's about what we pass on. Because when we are loved, we learn to love ourselves. And when we love ourselves, we're able to love others even more deeply. So what I want you to do is think about people in your life who have poured into you and ask yourself, how has their love shaped you? And how can you pass that love on to someone else? All right, let's be real. Loving people isn't always easy. Some days it's effortless, but other days it's frustrating, exhausting, and maybe even painful. But here's the truth. Love isn't just a feeling, it's a choice. See, in Violet Evergarden, we see love as an active decision, not just an emotion. One of the most powerful examples is the story of a sister who desperately wants to reconnect with her distant brother. And even though he pushes her away, even though he refuses to see his own worth, she still chooses to love him. She writes a letter reaching out even when it's hard. And in doing so, it just reminds him that he is loved whether he believes it or not. And it's the same with Iris and her parents. Misunderstandings and hurt feelings stood between them, but through a heartfelt letter, they were able to bridge that gap. And it highlights the point that love required effort, patience, and a willingness to understand. The way I like to look at it is like this. You can always love someone, but that doesn't mean you have to like them. Because after all, we're all human, which means we're not perfect, which means we can be difficult to get along with sometimes. And I know I'm not likable all the time, but I'm fortunate to still have people who love me despite my faults, shortcomings, and the occasional outbursts. See, love isn't just about how we feel in the moment. It's about showing up, even when it's difficult. And the key here is in choosing to love and being intentional in how we love. And that's where things like the 5 love languages come in. See, understanding how someone feels loved, whether it's through words, quality time, or acts of service, shows them that you care and that they're seen. So what I want you to do is ask yourself this: who in your life needs to feel seen today? And what can you do to show them love, even in a small way? Now, love isn't just about romance. It's in the way we support each other, the way we forgive, and the way we choose to see the best in people. And at the end of the day, love is what makes us truly human. And just like Violet, we're learning more about it each and every day. So now I have a question for you. How will you choose to love today? Drop a comment down below and let's just talk about it. And when you're done with that, go ahead and check out this next video for some more anime insights.